Hello and welcome to a Pilates class for lower back pain. You're probably here because you might struggle with lower back pain long term, or you might be having a little bit of a flare up but you're ready to get it moving again. So I'm going to take us through some twists and turns to hopefully just get that lower back moving and free up some space for you. So if you'd like to join me on the mat, we're going to lie down in our Pilates rest position and we're going to start nice and low level. So coming down to your Pilates rest posture, settle your shoulders down away from your ears. Just relax your arms on the mat and turn the palms up towards the ceiling to let the shoulders and the arms relax into the mat behind you. Think about finding your feet about hips width apart and find a little connection through the feet and the mat. Start then to gently push your lower back into the mat behind you and notice the tuck of the pelvis as the hips roll towards the belly button, and then just releasing to neutral, so relaxing, no effort at all. And again, imprint the lower back, pushing the spine into the mat, hips tilt to you, and then gently relax all the effort back to neutral. So we'll inhale at the neutral point and then exhale, imprinting the spine. Inhale, releasing. Exhale, imprinting. Inhale, releasing. Exhale, imprinting, drawing in through the low tummy there. Inhale to release. Exhale, pushing the back into the mat, engaging through the lower abdominals. Inhale to release. Exhale, imprint, engage. Inhale, release. Good work. Exhale, imprint, engage. Inhale, release. Now we might like to take these further. Once you've done your imprint, you might like to arch your lower back a little bit if it's feeling up to it. And again, exhale, imprint. Inhale to either arch or come to neutral, whatever your back's capable of today. Exhale, imprint. Inhale, release or arch. So running through those, taking your breath as a guide. Getting some gentle movement through your lower back whilst you're laying down on the mat is a beautiful way of doing it because you've not got loads of weight and effort going through your spine. You're well supported here and able to take movement. Good, so just exploring where your back will happily go today. We're then going to have a go at some windscreen wiper knees. So relax to neutral, bring your feet slightly wider than hips, and then gently start to take your knees over to one side. You might like to bring the middle leg first, this leg closest to the center, back, and then the other one back. That might be easier. Gently taking the knees to the other side. And again, maybe bring first leg back, then second. That might just help you so you've not got to carry so much weight through the core and the lower back. If it's okay, you might be happy to just windscreen wiper those legs gently side to side. Taking your time, again, you'll know if your left or your right side is feeling a bit tender. Maybe you want to take that side a little bit more steady. Maybe you want to hold in that windscreen wiper position for a moment. If you need some support, I've brought my ball with me somewhere. You might have a bolster cushion or a ball, and you're always welcome to pop that little object between your knee and the mat, just so that you've got a little bit of support for the weight of the legs, because legs are heavier things than we realise. So just gently taking those knees side to side, using that support. If you need it on one side of the body, that's there as a nice option. So we're going to take these legs gently back to center, maybe one at a time. And then we're going to bring the feet side by side. So I'd like you to imagine you've glued your feet together now. So the ankles, inner ankles are touching, big toes are touching, and the inside of the foot is touching. So as you start to take your knees over to one side, one foot, hopefully you can see that lifts off the mat. So your feet are stacked, your knees are stacked. And again, go within reason. If you need that bolster cushion or that ball underneath between the knee and the mat, chuck that in to help you out. Gently, again, you might want to bring one leg back first, then the second leg, and reset for the other side. Or you might be happy with your strength today, drawing in through the core, using a little bit of core and lower back together to take these hip twists side to side. So you can move side to side, or you can hold. It might be that one side of your back is particularly tight and actually really enjoying that stretch. So we're taking two legs together possibly, and then maybe returning them together, or maybe returning first leg then second leg back to the center line. So again, we're still getting a little bit of movement into the back. We've done some forward bending and back bending with our pelvic tilts. Now we're doing our rotation. So we're going to start to add in a stretch to this rotation. If I can ask you to rotate over to one side, don't mind which. Stack the knees one above the other. Imagine both of your knees are together and you're trying to grip a piece of paper between your knees. Stack the ankles and stack the big toes so the legs are completely side by side. Take your arms out wide for a crucifix type position. Settle your shoulders down into the mat. Let your arms go heavy. We're going to take the opposite hand and start to circle it up to the top edge of your mat. And then gently bring it back down by the side of the hip again. So we're starting to open into the side body there. Just reaching up above the head, finding a stretch and a length down this side from hip to armpit. And again, you might like to take that slowly. Good, we'll go for another one, and then we might take this a little bit further as well. So once you reach your hand up to the top edge of the mat, you might be able to keep going and kind of roll over onto your side, take your hand further forwards, and then unroll the way you came, so bringing that arm wide again. That's it, so take your arm all the way up and over, maybe just roll over onto your side. And then start to bring your shoulders back down to the mat again as the arm opens and returns to the side of the hip. So allowing with some freedom of movement now. So we're getting a little bit of twist and stretch into the mid and upper back as well. Keep that piece of paper between your knees. And we'll just finish off with one more here. Lovely. And then you might like to again return first leg, second leg, and readjust yourself on the mat so that your back feels happy, everything feels comfortable. You might want to do a few more pelvic tilts just before we move on to the other side, listening to your back today. So let's go to the other side. Bring the feet together, ankles and big toes together. Start to tip the knees over to the side and really stack the knees. Imagine you're gripping that piece of paper. Stack the ankles, stack the big toes, so those legs are truly side by side. We've got the arms open in the crucifix position, settling heavy shoulders and heavy arms in toward the mat. We take the opposite arm nice and wide and we start to circle that arm up and to the top edge of the mat, and then gently bringing that arm down back to the side of the body. So taking your arm up for a stretch. And bring it back down to the side of the body. So you're feeling the stretch from hip all the way up to armpits, all the way down that side, finding that opening. Good, we'll finish with one more here, and then we're going to start to take it further. So once you reach the top edge of your mat, see if you can then roll over onto your side, and then roll back, let the arm guide you. So we're getting some really nice stretch and a little bit of rotation, a little bit of twisting higher up the spine as well. Good. So keep this momentum going if it feels nice. Keep that paper sandwiched between your knees. Gorgeous stuff. And we'll bring the arm gently back down to the side of the body. Now you might like to just square the shoulders again. Bring the first leg back, bring the second leg back, and bring yourself back to that Pilates rest position, palms turned upwards, shoulders settled in the mat, and take a deep breath in and out. Settle here for 3 more breaths. Gently sliding one foot away and hook the opposite knee in toward the chest and start to squeeze that in a little bit. You can hold in front of the knee or behind the knee, and you might like to start opening the hip and the knee out wide, or maybe closing it kind of diagonally across the body and just starting to move and loosen into the hip and the glute muscle, because your glute and your lower back interact all the time. Okay, if you've got tightness in your glutes, those muscles attach at very similar points on the pelvis, so they really can refer pain into lower back if your glutes and hips are tight. So we're just exploring and creating a bit of space at the hip joint and freeing up some of the muscles that support that joint. Good. So go where that feels good, where it feels useful to you. And then we're going to pull that knee up high towards our shoulder, holding there for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Gently release and take your foot back to the mat before you slide it to the end, to the bottom of your mat, and then draw your other knee in. Let's try and grab that knee up towards our shoulder and play with your opening and closing and manipulation of the hip joint. So opening the knee, closing the knee. You can do this as slowly or as quickly as you need to. You may even find a really tight spot that you want to hold on to and work through. But really we're trying to free up the hips, free up the hips, free up the glutes. And then we might just start grabbing this knee up a little bit higher, pulling a little bit tighter towards the shoulder, and hold for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Gently releasing that foot back down to the mat. And either coming to a laying down position with the long legs on the mat, or walking your feet into Pilates rest posture if you prefer. Building on the pelvic tilts now, we're going to see if we can start to engage a bridge to try and get your core and glutes to work nicely together. So if you can begin by imprinting your lower back into the mat, squeezing the glutes on. So if you think about left sit bone and right sit bone, and think about them drawing toward one another to the middle of your pelvis, and then gently press down through your feet, you'll start to be able to lift your hips off the mat, squeeze the bottom at the top of the movement, and lengthen your lower back. So imagine that your tailbone and your pelvis is continually scooping away towards your knees. Okay, it's kind of tucking under and scooping away. And gently, gently lower the spine, one vertebra at a time, back into contact with the mat. Now you might find if your back is quite angry today, or quite painful today, that your back is so vocal that it's doing a lot of the work. And actually we want our core and our glutes to do a bit more work. So what we can also do is bring a prop between the legs. So that could be a ball or a block, something that you can squeeze onto to activate your inner legs. Okay, so this is going to help to bring on other muscles that aren't your back, basically. So if you give your block or your ball or your object, maybe even a big chunky book or something, if you don't have blocks available, give that a really good squeeze and feel the length of your inner thigh engage from your groin to your knee, all down the inside of the leg, and release. And then again, grip and squeeze the inside of the leg. 3, 2, 1, release. And again, grip and squeeze. 3, 2, 1, release. And 2 more, grip and squeeze. 3, 2, 1, and release. And grip and squeeze. 3, 2, 1, release. So we're going to grip and bridge at the same time. Grip the block, imprint the lower back. Core should come on really well here. Inner thighs will help to engage your core. Squeeze the glutes together, so draw the sit bones together. Keep squeezing that block and start to lift off the mat. And I'm hoping that your thighs, core and glutes are doing more of the work now, and your back can relax into it a little bit. So squeeze the bum, squeeze the block, tuck and tilt the pelvis away, and then gently lower back down towards the mat. If this is too intense, you can get rid of the block today, or you could just work on the pelvic tilts. So squeeze the block, imprint the lower spine, squeeze the sit bones, press down through the feet if you want to lift up to bridge with me. Keep tucking and tilting, scooping that pelvis towards your knees, and gently lay each part of your spine back down to the mat.
So we grip the block, imprint lower back, squeeze glutes, squeeze sit bones, push through feet to rise. Squeeze and tuck extra, that little extra tilt at the top, and then gently lay the spine back down towards the mat. Let's do one more like that. So engaging through the block, squeezing and lifting. Good, the extra little tilt at the top, and then lowering the spine gently back down towards the mat. Let's pop the block to one side and just loosen off through the legs. So we're going to start to gently hug the knees in towards the chest and just give them a squeeze in and out. Gentle squeeze in and out. Squeezing the knees in, releasing, squeezing the knees in, releasing. And then holding the knees apart, a gentle circle or a rock and roll side to side to massage that lumbar into the mat. And then maybe a change of direction. So to really get your core to engage through this next bridge position, I'm going to ask you to bridge up with me, and then we're going to introduce a new cue on the way back down. So if you can imprint your lower back, squeeze your sit bones, start to press through the feet to bridge, that extra tuck and squeeze to scoot the pelvis away from you at the top. Now, as we lower down, we want each vertebra to hit the spine in turn. Try, if this makes sense, to try and keep your hip bones as close to your rib cage for as long as you can. So if you can try and keep your pelvis tucking towards the bottom of your ribs for as long as you can, you'll really get that nice control through the lumbar, okay? You'll get that nice curved lumbar, and you'll hopefully be able to get that back to hit the ground in order. So try again. You can go for that imprinting of the lower back, squeezing of the sit bones, pressing down through the feet to find the bridge. Again, that little tuck and scoop at the top. And then as you lower your spine down, try and keep these two hip bones quite close to these ribs as you gently guide your spine and guide that lower back down to the mat. Let's go for a few more of those. Finding your bridge up, extra tuck and scoop at the top, starting to gently, take each vertebra in turn, keep the ribs nice and closely tucked in towards, hips nicely tucked in towards ribs. And off we go again. We've got two more here. We're going to bridge up, extra tuck and scoop at the top of the movement. Start to lay each spinal compartment down, bit by bit, keeping those hips so close to those ribs. Nice, and we'll finish with one more, taking that gorgeous bridge up. Good, and again we're trying to use this core here, so gently taking each vertebra to touch the mat, and eventually let the sacrum hit the mat, the pelvis relax and release. And we might like to just gently straighten our legs out here to the bottom end of the mat, and take a stretch up with the hands to take a full length stretch through the body there. That might feel quite nice. You might like to stretch a bit more on the left side or the right side. Feel free to have a wriggle around if your back is up to this. If you alternatively want to do a nice hug of the knees and cuddle the knees into the chest, that can be a really nice option to get a bit of flexion into the back. From Pilates rest posture, take the fingertips to the pelvis and find your neutral hips, which is effortless, okay? It's easy and it's restful. Start to engage through your lower tummy. So think about your left hip bone and your right hip bone starting to draw in towards the middle of your waist. So we start to draw in across this low band, this bikini line or this low slung belt line. Maintaining your neutral lumbar curve. So it might be that you've actually imprinted your lower back here, which is a safe thing to do, we don't mind it, but we'd rather work in neutral and reinforce a neutral spine. So neutral, effortless spine, but then engage the lower abdominals. Starting then to take one heel and slide it out to the end of your mat really slowly, because as that leg straightens away, it's really likely that that hip is going to follow it and run away or roll away from you a little bit. So we actually just want to make sure that we've retracted through the hip joint and kept the hip neutral. So if you want to have another go at that, drawing that leg in, reset. Think about your hips being nice and level, nice and neutral. Start to take the heel away, but keep retracting the hip. You want to keep this hip nice and close to your rib cage. So don't let that roll away from you or flop out into extension. Because if it flops out into extension, we lose the core connection. Gently then draw the heel back in towards the sit bone. Maybe have a go on the other leg if you feel ready to. So as you slowly heel slide away, try and keep that same hip nice and close to your rib cage so we don't let it flop and relax into extension. We keep it engaged, we keep it retracted. So just going through your heel slides, nice and simple. You can do these side to side. Just thinking about retracting that hip all the time to try and maintain that neutral pelvis. Maintaining that natural curve in your lower back. So the lower back isn't overarching. As I say, it is safe to imprint it if your back feels like it needs to imprint this morning. That's it. Just gently taking your heel slides side to side. So again, we're engaging our core to support a neutral spine. So I'm trying to get your abdominals to start taking over and do a little bit of work. So hopefully take the stress off your back. So heel sliding, good. Keeping hips nicely retracted. Hips close to rib cage. Good, we'll just finish with 2 more. There's 2 more here. And then back to Pilates rest posture, ready for our overhead circles. So relaxing the hands down by the sides of the body. We're going to start with an overhead reach. So keeping the rib cage soft and close to the hip bones. We've just talked about that. We don't want our rib cage to lift. We don't want our chest to pop up. We're taking the arms just overhead. They don't have to go all the way back to the mat, because you might find if you go all the way back to the mat that your shoulders disengage, and again you kind of flop out into the flexibility of your joints. Let's then start to circle the hands back down to the sides of the body. So we're just trying to avoid the ribs popping and flaring as we do that. So we're taking that overhead reach, keeping the ribs close to the hips and circling back down to the side body. Overhead reach. Again, maybe not all the way to the floor, circling back down to the hips, stuck to the side body. Taking the overhead reach and circling back down. And this is nice and warm for the core. This really helps to start engaging the front of the body. Hopefully allowing the back of your body to relax a little bit. So taking overhead reach, arm circle, overhead reach. Arm circle, keeping rib cage nice and soft. Rib cage, bottom rib kind of kissing your hip bones as you move. We're here for about 4 more here. Good. Keeping that core connection nice and strong. And let's start to add in a heel slide if you're ready for it. So as you take the overhead reach, keep the ribs soft and start to extend the heel. We'll do that one nice and slowly, retracting hips, keeping ribs and hips close to each other. And then draw your heel in as the arms circle back to the sides. So we go for a long extension, heel slide. Circle, draw back in, nice. So if these are too much, it might be that actually your back's not quite ready for this. You could just do the arms or just do the legs, okay? You can modify these to make these a little bit more doable today. And maybe you can come back in a day or 2, and once this is loosened off, you'll be able to have another go. So keeping ribs soft, it's so tough, it's so easy to forget. Keeping ribs soft, keeping hip bones nice and close to rib cage. And you can take these really thoughtfully. So starting to take that extension and that heel slide through the body, good, and drawing back in. We're here for about 3 more movements, and then we're going to loosen off through the back. Good, let's take 1 more. Heel slide with the overhead reach, keeping ribs and hips connected. Circling back in, lovely. Okay, let's cross left leg all the way over right leg. Relax your arms to the side of the body with the palms upturned, and let the knees gently roll over to the right side for a deeper spine twist. Take a few deep breaths and really let your knees go. Let the weight of the legs and the hips take you over. And maybe just let your body shut off here. You don't need that extra tension holding everything together. Just kind of let it go. And engaging through the tummy. Starting to gently bring those legs through to the center line. Uncross the legs there. And have a go to the other side. Right over left. And tip and roll to the left side for spine twist. Let some of that tension go. Let yourself melt into the mat behind you. Heavy through the hips, heavy through the legs. And engaging some core, let's bring ourselves back through to the center to lie in Pilates rest position once more. From rest posture, we're going to bring ourselves over onto our sides nice and gently. And start to press up to hands and knees. So take your time getting there. I'm aware backs might be a bit stiff, so just take that time. And we're going to just do a little bit of stretching to loosen off from here. So if you can start to arch your back, rounding the spine up, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, and then come back through neutral. You might also want the arch of the back bend, so lifting the tailbone, looking ahead, and just gently pushing your chest forwards through the shoulders. Be sensible with this. It might be that today your back doesn't like one or both of these movements. Let's go into that rounded spine again. We could gently inhale to arch the back. And exhale, tuck chin, tuck tailbone round. Inhale, drop the tummy, look ahead. Exhale, rounding that spine. Good, inhale. And exhale. Again, if this is too much, just go through the ranges of motion that you enjoy. It might be that the back bend is a bit too much pressure on the lumbar at the moment, but you might really like the arch and then just coming to neutral. We might find that nice rounded spine and then maybe take a gentle side bend. So just gently start to look as if you're looking over your shoulder, and then maybe start to look the other way as if you're looking to your toes. So just gently taking that side to side. Because our back doesn't only move in a linear fashion, does it? It does go side to side. It moves in all sorts of angles, so it's good to explore them. You might like to explore those side bends in the back arch as well. No worries if this one isn't for you, but gently starting to look side to side. And then just walk the hands a little bit further forwards. We're going to settle back into child's pose. So taking your sit bones back towards your feet. Maybe come to rest the head on the mat there and just take a moment. You might like to even bring the hands down beside the feet and allow the shoulders to relax, allowing the shoulder blades to come apart either side of the spine. Settle into your breathing here. You might find that your tummy's a bit busy, your tummy's a bit crowded, so you have to breathe into the back. And as you breathe into the back, expanding the back with your breath. Take 4 more breaths, widening the back with the inhale. Finding release on the exhale. Now start to breathe into the lumbar, okay? We're going to breathe into this area across your low back. So see if you can target that inhale to make the lumbar wider. Good, deep breaths there. Gently bringing the hands back to the sides of your head and propping yourself back up to a hands and knees position. Let's finish with a nice twist here. If I can ask you to take your inhale, your gentle lift and twist. Exhale, thread the needle. See if you can come nice and low today. Rest the shoulder, rest the head on the mat. And hold here, breathing here. We're going to keep this twist as is today, just so that we've got a lot of support, so that we've got the hand, the head, the shoulder here. And we're just taking this gorgeous twist into the low back. Take a few deep breaths. Gently press through the mat, back to hands and knees, and we'll do the other side when you're ready. So lift and twist. Inhale. Exhale, thread your needle, head and shoulder towards the mat. And settle in for some breathing here, stretching into that back. Nice, settle that breath. Gently pressing back to hands and knees and coming to sit comfortably or stand comfortably or lie back on your back if that's more comfortable for you to finish today's class. Thank you for joining me.